Once you get to know how Fiverr really works, some amazing things are possible. Today, I'm going to tell you how I created a brand new gig and had it on the first page of Fiverr search results in just 3 days. Coming up.
The Gig Doctor.
I'm Dane Scott from thegigdoctor.com, top-rated Fiverr seller and voiceover guy. And yep, I really did accomplish that this week. I launched a new gig on Tuesday, and by Friday, yesterday, I had it ranked on the first page in more than one of the search criteria that I was hoping for. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I did today. Hit the like and subscribe even as I am launching into this, please, and that way I can bring you these all the time, because if you're subscribed, you'll know when the new ones come out. And please don't forget to leave a comment today. All right, some backstory. I've been doing a Gig Doctor service for a number of years. The core of the service is a 1 hour or at least 1 hour meeting where I get together with someone, I look at their gig, I make recommendations to help them get found more easily and get noticed and get ordered from. I created a website called thegigdoctor.com to go along with that. And I also set up on Facebook with several groups that are designed to help people succeed on Fiverr. Well, a lot of the people in my groups were voiceover people because that was my own background, was voiceover, so I tend to connect with them. A couple years ago, it finally dawned on me, though, that I was pretty much limiting myself to just this one genre of Fiverr sellers. You know, there are thousands of voiceover people on Fiverr, but there are hundreds of thousands of people selling in other categories, so it was one of those moments, and I decided that I needed to do something about it. I created the Gig Doctor gig on Fiverr at that time, offering the same kind of service that I was doing elsewhere, and at the same price, but on Fiverr in its own gig. And it did well. And by the end of that first year, I had done, if I remember right, close to 100 meetings, and I had lots of good positive reviews. So I had had a good successful launch of that, and it was providing me with some additional monthly income. And Fiverr's computer noticed me, and it bolstered me up in the search results and made me the Fiverr's choice. So things were looking pretty good. Then one day, the gig just disappeared. Just like that. Poof! It was gone. Fiverr had decided that there was no official category for what I was offering, and they just zapped it. The gig and everything that was there, you know, all of my information, all of my review, my reputation that I'd built up, it was just gone in an instant. And I did appeal to them. What they basically said, sorry, it's gone. You know, that was the end of it. So I just, at that point, I redoubled my efforts in promoting the Gig Doctor service elsewhere and figured that that was that, And time went by. A lot of time has gone by. And then recently, I noticed that over on Fiverr, they were starting to have, or maybe they have had for a while, and I just now noticed it, some other people that are offering something very much like the Gig Doctor. So I contacted my Fiverr success coach, and I asked her, hey, is this now allowable? Do they have a category, an accepted category for it? And she said, yes, they do. And I told her exactly what I wanted to do, and she suggested a specific category where I set it up, which I did. And then I asked that Fiverr would look it over thoroughly, my gig, make sure everything looked great, tell me if I needed to do anything differently, and that I would make whatever adjustments were necessary, because I really wanted to make sure that there was nothing in there that they were going to object to. And they gave everything the seal of approval, so I published the new Gig Doctor gig on Tuesday of this past week. As I was working on the gig before I published it, and went through the process of designing and promoting it, it dawned on me that, this would be an excellent kind of a litmus test for some of the things that I'm teaching people in the Gig Doctor meetings and talking about in the Facebook groups and stuff. It was actually a pretty good opportunity for me to prove or to disprove whether the stuff I was telling people was a good idea or not. So I decided that I would post a daily update on how things were going to my Facebook group. I'd tell them honestly, whether I was making progress or I had been a flop so far. So pressure was on. I'd already gone public about the effort, and now I needed to update them and tell them, okay, how was I doing? Well, let me step back just a little bit and tell you the steps that went into preparing the gig before I published it. First, I did some homework. I got onto Fiverr using an incognito mode on a browser to see what the most popular searches were, related to what I offered, that is. which was basically, Fiverr gig optimization. I learned that the most popular related searches had to do with search ranking, SEO, gig profile, description, and a few other things. So as I worked on the wording of the gig, I made sure those words figured prominently in my title, my tags, and my description. I spent a lot of time refining my description because I felt like it needed to make the case for me about what I offered, and also it needed to contain a lot of important keywords that I wanted to be found by. One nice thing was that I was able to pretty much reuse the original gig demo that I had on my Fiverr Gig Doctor gig a couple years ago with just a couple of minor tweaks. Here's that. There are about 3.4 million people who actively buy services on Fiverr. That's good news for sellers. That's about as many people as you'll find in giant Los Angeles, California. There are also about 2.3 million people offering their services on Fiverr. That's as many people as live in the metropolis of Houston, Texas. And that's a lot of competition. I'm Dane Scott, and I know what it feels like to start out on Fiverr and feel a little overwhelmed by all that. I've overcome. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars on the platform. I know how to break through the clutter, get found, and make sales. I can show you how to do the same thing. And here are a few real comments from people I've helped.
Dane knows what he's doing. That's why he's the gig doctor.
Dane is a super good guy. Trust me, 1 hour session with him, and my gig made it to the first page.
Thank you so much, Dane, for helping me set up my description, my pricing, and best of all, my confidence in making my gig the best it can be.
In the 4 days since I worked with the gig doctor, my impressions have gone from single digits to triple digits. He's just that smart.
Hey, you're next. Let's see if we can fire up your gig and get you onto the first page.
Work with him, and he is going to work with you.
Dane the Gig Doctor can help you do this.
Highly recommend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dane.
Thanks, Dane.
So I had everything in place, and I hit publish. All right, now this is where I could have stopped and become like the girl who's waiting by the phone to get the call asking her to the prom. You know the drill. You put a gig up there, and then you just kind of hope that Fiverr's going to give it a chance in search, and eventually you'll get some orders. But I know Fiverr, and I know what makes gigs move up in search rankings, and waiting by the phone is just not, playing that long game isn't what I had in mind. So next, I'll tell you just what I did to make my gig rise to the front page in just a few days. We're at the midway point here, so let me just take a few seconds to mention that comments are a big deal to me. They make me feel like I've been helpful, for one thing. And they also actually help the video to appear before more people, so comments are a huge help. Would you please leave a comment today? Please also like and subscribe right now while you're thinking about it. Okay, so how in the world did I manage then to make this brand new gig jump to the front page as fast as I did? Let me tell you the theory first, and then I'll tell you exactly what I did here. Fiverr is a business, and it's a successful business because they've developed a way to help others succeed. But it's not philanthropy. It's business. Everything they do is designed to earn them more money. That's what businesses do. When you realize that, it helps you to understand the best way to succeed with them. If you want to make money, you need to find ways for your participation on Fiverr to help them make money. Let me give you a few examples. Things that they are looking for. One, you need to offer something of real value that Fiverr customers will want. That's so important. That's kind of the key to everything. Then you need to offer it at the best price you can get, which means make sure the value is high enough so that you can charge more on average than what a lot of people are charging, either through your starting price or a combination of that plus the extras that you offer. That way, Fiverr sees you as a good source of income. And then you want to make an effort to promote what you're doing. Again, we're signaling Fiverr that we're more likely to bring in more money than somebody else. And we need to demonstrate to Fiverr that we're going to be able to make buyers happy. Fiverr will see evidence of that through the ratings that we get. And then we want to demonstrate that we are responsible, meaning that we answer inquiries and messages in a reasonable time and we deliver orders on time. So coming in, I already had some of this going with Fiverr because I've already kind of proven myself to be an effective seller there. But that alone is just not going to do it. I also had to demonstrate to them that I could do a good job with this new service that I was offering. And that brings us around to the old chicken and the egg thing, doesn't it? To prove that I can deliver the goods in this new category, I need to get orders to complete so that I can show that I can deliver the goods. So that is the dilemma. And when you first launch a new gig, you're kind of nowhere. Right at first, you're lucky if you can find your gig anywhere in the search pages. So somehow the chicken needs to lay at least one egg here in order to kind of get things rolling. And that's what I set out to do. I came up with a promotion to help get things rolling. While I priced my Gig Doctor service, as I used to at the $95 price point, same pretty much as the, like the $99 that's at my website, I went on to social media and I offered it then at half price, $50. So just for the first month that I had it on Fiverr. And then to that, I added a free $50 head slapper video. So that takes the cost down to $0. And then I also added my 2-hour course, Climbing the Ladder on Fiverr. Now the buyer is actually in the plus category even before they get to the meeting. And then I threw in some other goodies too, including my gig tracker spreadsheet that helps people keep track of how well their gigs are doing from month to month. So suddenly we're talking about an awful lot of value here added to what was already a valuable service. And the whole thing was being offered at half the price of what the gig usually will offer it at. So it was a heck of a deal. I knew it was. And I was kind of giving away the store. But, you have to take the long view of things. The way this worked, by the way, was that participants could get the special deal by going to the gig and then clicking the Contact Me button, which then would allow them to request from me this special price break. So I'd send them a custom offer. They'd accept it, and off we'd go. So I would send them a link then, and they would schedule with me, and then when we meet, then I would give them the goodies and stuff besides all of the advice in the meeting. Now, there's one more important element to this, and that is that I used a special link for this promotion. So here's what you do. If you go to the gig that you want to promote, there will be a Share Gig button there, and if you click on that, there will be a further button available then that says Copy Link. And so you definitely want to click on that button, which will copy the link to the clipboard of your computer. Now, this is a specially coded link that signals to Fiverr that you're sharing your gig and that you're promoting, that you're driving traffic to Fiverr from the outside, and they love that. It's like candy to them. It's another way that we can tell Fiverr that we're one of the people who are actually trying to make them money. So just know this. Don't just copy the URL from the top of the browser window and share that. If you do that, you're missing the boat. The shared social link is an important element of this process. So then what happened? People responded. The very same day that I launched the gig, I began seeing some of those messages coming up in my Fiverr inbox from people who had seen the promotion and they wanted in. I think there were like 7 the first day who I sent a custom offer to. I sent them the offers, they accepted, and suddenly I had 7 orders in the queue. And as I expected, when I checked the next morning, the gig wasn't even showing up in search yet, really. I mean, I think maybe if I went down far enough, I could have found it, but I wasn't even interested. It was just too soon to be checking. It usually happens that way. You won't see something instantly, usually. But by later that day, my gig had crept up through those 12,000 some search results to about the 5th page. So that was encouraging to see. And I suspected that it wouldn't be until after I had delivered some of these initial orders and they left reviews that I would start to see more real action. And that's exactly what happened. So the day after I launched the gig, I had 3 or 4 meetings with new Gig Doctor friends. And after each one, I hit deliver and I asked them to please leave me a review. And I explained how important it is to my success that they leave a review. And they were all happy to do that. I felt like, they were pretty happy with what I was able to give them in the Gig Doctor sessions. So they all left nice reviews, and I had some high expectations then of what this might do to my search results by the next day. And the next day, which would have been the second day after the launch, the Gig Doctor gig was up to the first page for gig optimization, which was one of my main things I wanted to be found by. It was not right at the very top. It was down 5 or 6 rows, but hey, it was on the first page, so I felt that was good after a couple of days. There were a load of additional Gig Doctor sessions then that day, which I delivered immediately also, and then I called for the ratings and the reviews, and they left some nice ratings and reviews, so we've got a bunch of 5-star ratings up there. Now, the next morning was pretty exciting. I did a bunch of different searches, and Gig Doctor gig was popping up on the first page in pretty much all of them. So let me just go through a few of what I was seeing. Fiverr optimization, first position, first row, and Fiverr's Choice. No, that's just the third day after I launched this thing. Optimize gig, first position, first row. Fiverr gig, first row. Optimize Fiverr gig, second row. Fiverr SEO, second row. These are all on the first page. Fiverr gig optimization, third row. Fiverr search optimization, third row. And if the promotion continues strong during the month of May here, and I continue to get more orders, I believe that I may eventually be able to get pretty much to the first row, first position on most of the things that I'm hoping I get found by. So we'll see. Will the new gig, though, continue to do well after the promotion is over in this month of May 2023? Well, that's yet to be seen. Its normal $95 price is higher than pretty much any of the others that are offering something like this on Fiverr. And I have it there because I really feel like it's worth, what I'm offering. I'm inclined to say that the answer is yes, that I will continue to get orders even after the promotion thing is done. I won't be showered with orders like this month, but, let me use voiceover coaching as kind of a parallel example here. I have a voiceover coaching gig on Fiverr that's also $95 for a concentrated 1-hour session. Fiverr loves that higher price, so of course they promote that one heavily in search, and I do get regular orders on it. Despite the fact it's higher in price, there's a natural and I think a correct assumption that if a lot of people have already ordered something like this, and it's been getting 5-star reviews, rankings, it's looking good that way, that this person must be offering something of higher value and that it's worthwhile to order it. And that's the message that I hope people will get when they look at this new Fiverr Gig Doctor Gig 2. By the way, if you do want to grab a Gig Doctor session yourself, it's still $50 during the month of May here, and you get the extras like the Climbing the Ladder on Fiverr course, which I really poured myself into. It's really kind of a gold mine of stuff in there. And then the Head Slapper video, Knowing the Unknowable on Fiverr, and the rest. You can hit a special link down in the show notes here today, and that's the special link that I talked about here in the program. And that will take you right to the gig, and then you want to hit the Contact Me thing like I talked about and ask for the custom offer, and off we'll go. Now, next time on The Gig Doctor, a fun one, I'm going to compare working on Fiverr to getting married or to being married. There are a lot of parallels, and I think that you're not only going to enjoy it, but I think you'll see kind of a new way of looking at your Fiverr experience that may help you succeed better there. As we wrap up here in the closing credits, there will be a couple of links for some other Gig Doctors that I think you'll like. And I'll catch you next time. Thanks.
The Gig Doctor.